Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Real Talk with Michelle. As you know, or if you do not know, this show is about some real talk with me and my friends where we have uplifting, encouraging, empowering, thought-provoking, fun, and informative conversations. My guest this evening is a very good friend of mine, and we've known each other for an extremely long time. We work together, and we're always uplifting and encouraging each other. And so I wanted to share my friend with you this evening, attorney Verna Popo. She was born on the island of St. Lucia, and she has 6 sisters and 1 brother. Verna earned her bachelor's degree in finance from Temple University and her law degree from the University of Miami School of Law. She also holds a certificate in financial services compliance from Boston University School of Law. Verna is the owner and managing attorney of the law office of Verna Popo, PA, where her firm is dedicated to helping her clients build and protect a legacy for themselves and for the benefit of their future generations. Attorney Verna Popo helps her clients get a fresh financial start by filing for bankruptcy, prepare and plan for the future by having a trust or a will in place to settle their affairs, and manage the estate of a deceased loved one through probate. Whatever the legal need, her priority is to serve the client. Verna also serves as the president of a nonprofit which she started called Unstoppable Hope. The purpose of Unstoppable Hope is to provide school supplies to financially disadvantaged children here in the U.S. and St. Lucia. In addition, Verna is a lifetime member of the John Maxwell family and is embarking on her latest journey as a transformational speaker and life coach. Her purpose of this is to help others transform by the renewing of their minds, and Verna states, "In this season of my life, I am focused on giving my attention to prayer and the ministry of the word, and God is good." Welcome, Verna. It's such a privilege to have you here as a guest on Real Talk with Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. It's a privilege and an honor. I look forward to this conversation.
Me too. I'm happy to share you with the viewers today. I'm happy that we're able to sit down and just have some real talk. And let's share with our viewers, and they can learn some more about you and get to know the Verna Popo that I know and love. So we're going to dive right in.
Thank you.
So you're from a Christian background.
Yes.
And you are an attorney at law. My first question to you is, can a Christian be an attorney?
Well, absolutely. Living proof right here. Definitely. A Christian can be attorney. Not only can a Christian be attorney, Christians should be attorneys. We are, in fact, the hands and feet of God, and we are needed in all places. So definitely, yes, Christian can be attorney.
Okay, that's good to hear, because I know that a lot of people encounter circumstances with attorneys, sometimes just whether they need help or not, or if they've just crossed paths with them. And not everyone's experience with an attorney would reflect the Christianity in that area of law, in that field. So what areas of law do you specialize in, and why?
I practice consumer bankruptcy, estate planning, and probate. Why? Bankruptcy is really one of the biggest problems facing individuals in America throughout the country is financial difficulties, be it through debt or the loss of income or hospital bills from an unexpected emergency. People are plagued with debt that keeps them bound in many ways, from getting an education or getting a home. So my job with bankruptcy is to help these individuals get a fresh financial start. And a lot of times it takes a lot of encouraging, because surprising to many, these individuals do want to repay their debts, but they just don't have the financial means to do so. Mm-hmm. So I like to encourage them and remind them that bankruptcy is, in fact, biblical.
It is.
As we know, after every 7 years, debts were discharged, and bankruptcy works the same way. you file and your debts get discharged. So it's something I like to encourage because it really positions people to do something not only for themselves, but for their children. With estate planning, it's an avenue that really allows individuals in certain sectors, mainly the minorities, to have wills or a trust in place to build a legacy and to protect their legacy for themselves and for their children. With probate, it's a difficult time in the lives of many individuals. They've lost a loved one, and the last thing they want to have to deal with is how to sort out this person's affairs or their estate. And that's when I come in, not to only serve as an attorney, but to also comfort them through this difficult time.
It's interesting because the areas of law that you have chosen to practice are areas that you can help people. You can minister. It's kind of a ministry where you're helping. So that's interesting. Does the work that you do mean anything to God?
I sure hope so, Lord. Let's ask God. Well, definitely, because for me, being an attorney, it's a calling. I definitely felt like it's what I've called to do. I have never thought of being anything other. Growing up, it was always an attorney. I never thought of any other profession. I wanted to be an attorney as long as I can remember. Why, I don't know. When, I don't know. I just know that it's the only profession I ever saw myself doing as a child. And as I said earlier, we are the hands and feet of God. So for me, it's not just an attorney. Working in that field, I am an ambassador of Christ. I get the opportunity to share the word with people while practicing as an attorney. So I do hope that it means something to the Lord, and I'm in some way advancing his kingdom.
So tell me, let's share with the viewers, can it be difficult at times to maintain that Christian purity and integrity in the legal context of what you do?
Can it?
Can it?
It is. It is very difficult, and it comes less difficult. I have been practicing for 15 years, so in the earliest stages of my career when I was not as a strong Christian, it definitely was. As time has gone by, I have definitely grown in my faith, in my walk with the Lord, so that helps. But it is at times difficult to remember to operate in the spirit and not in the flesh when you're dealing with demanding clients or really difficult opposing counsel or judges who you have to stand before while you're being yelled at
and hold your tongue.
Hold your tongue, and just say, Lord, peace, be still, not say what you want to say. Right. So yeah, it's difficult in that respect that it's a very tumultuous profession. It's hard. There's a lot of attacks, personal, from your clients, from opposing counsel, from everywhere. So that makes it difficult to walk as a Christian while practicing. But as I said, it becomes easier as your walk with the Lord grows stronger.
So tell us, how does your faith affect your work? I'm going to give you a 3-part question. Okay? How does your faith affect your work? And what does it mean to integrate your faith with your work? And how do you integrate your faith with the business?
Very
so how do you integrate?
Very poignant and excellent question, Michelle. And I think that you and God have been having some conversations before this. My faith it's everything to me. My faith is everything to my work. It is the driving force behind my work, behind my life, behind my personal life and my professional life. My faith is the foundation that I stand on to do this, to practice as an attorney and to practice well as an attorney. It's the foundation I stand on to build my relationships, be it with family, friends like yourself, or my clients. Without my faith, there really is no Verna Popo attorney at law. There's just Verna Popo. So for me, my faith means everything. It's the light when things get difficult. It's my strength when things are going well. It is my accountability partner when things are well, and I do have to remember to pay my tithes to the church. It's at the center of everything. It's at the center of it all. Without my faith, there's just really, I can't imagine life individually or professionally without my faith in the Lord.
It's so funny because I remember when I first met you, when we first met years ago, I could tell there was something different about you. You know, I work with a lot of attorneys, so there was something different in terms of the way you spoke to the clients or the way you dealt with them. I know that we work together on cases, and sometimes, you know, the phone call is, you know, I can be a little more outspoken than you. And the phone call is Verna, you know, Michelle, is, you know, because my take is, you know, I need this and I need to get it done, and, you know, that's me. You, on the other hand, you know, you're like, you know, when you talk to them, you're calm and you're, you know, as upset as you are, they will never know that you're upset, you know?
That's correct.
And I can tell that there was something, and the clients pick up on it as well, you know, because when they're talking to me about you, that's the reaction that they have. So how does your faith, I know you just talked about integrating your faith in the work, but how does it impact your life, and how did it impact your career choice?
Well, let's before I even get to that, I just want to say, well, our beating was definitely a divine encounter because, you know, it's all about balance,
Yes,
right? So, yeah, I do need that because it's not that I don't want to say certain things to clients. Probably,
You just asked me to say
exactly. Exactly.
You asked me, Michelle.
Yes, you know, but in interacting with the clients, I like to just think that, and I constantly try to remind myself that every client is sent by God for a purpose. And when I sit across the desk from that individual, I have to always be mindful or try to remember what is the purpose here, what beyond legal assistance, why did God send this client my way? So it helps me calm what, you know, the flesh and say what I really want to say and just really be that to that person. But back to your question, how does my faith impact
your career choice, and how does it impact your life?
Okay. Yes. So in terms of career choice, for me, it really was not a choice. Like I said, I have never thought of being anything but an attorney growing up. So it definitely, I see it as a calling. I truly believe that God called me to this career, to this position, to be an attorney. And in terms of my life, it's a role I take seriously. It's a role I think comes with it a level of responsibility.
Absolutely.
I have seen, and I did not always feel that or know that, but it opens a lot of doors for me in terms of how I can help people. It gives me a platform to reach people I would otherwise not reach or be able to reach. And it gives me an opportunity to also serve as a role model. You will be surprised how many young children don't know an attorney and how enlightening it is for them when they see an attorney, not just an attorney, but a Black female attorney.
Absolutely.
So it definitely helps me widen my reach in terms of how I influence people. Not just as an attorney, but as a Christian attorney. And a lot of people find it surprising that you're an attorney and you're a Christian. Yes, I am. And yes, you can be as well. So that for me is, like I said, it's my calling. So I try not to take it lightly.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you because it's the correlation, the two, just hearing it doesn't even go together, Christian and attorney.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
It doesn't even go together.
Exactly.
So I'm really excited so people can hear the other side and know that, okay, you know, you're able to balance that and still maintain your integrity and your faith.
Definitely.
While doing so. So because you are a Christian attorney, I'm sure that you have faced some challenges. Just in the practice, or, you know, just share some of your challenges that you have faced. Not just being an attorney by itself, but, you know, let's bring in the Christian aspect of it.
The challenges I have faced. I think one of the biggest challenges for me practicing is, I could go to my business acumen, I struggle with having people pay for my services. Now, this is not an opportunity to get free legal services, but it's hard for me. You know, like I said, I feel like God sends an individual, and this person comes to me and they say, I can't afford your fees.
Yeah.
And for me, this is my livelihood, so this is what I depend on financially. So it's hard for me to say, well, go to another attorney, or, you don't have to pay. And I do it.
Yes, you do. You do. We've had cases where I'm like, Verna, that's a little low.
Yes, but it's so hard for me to turn away people who cannot afford the legal service. And as I said in the beginning, I'm here to help, like to serve. So that's something I struggle with, and I am just saying, Lord, give me the wisdom, because, and this is when it gets a little, you will, it bites me at times.
It bites you.
It bites me at times, because this client that you just said, it's okay, you can't afford all the fees, I'll do it for half.
Yeah.
You find out that they have just gone to Mexico and they're posting pictures on Facebook, and I'm just like,
can't afford
you could not
it.
afford the fees. So it's definitely a lesson in discernment. Just because someone says, I can't afford, doesn't mean that they cannot. And just seeking the Lord's wisdom in that. Another difficulty is just dealing with difficult opposing counsel. This is, just wanting to drop to their level, but knowing that you cannot, because you have a light to shine that will point others to the Lord. So it's not, I cannot just do what I want to do. Sometimes I do envy people who are able to just lash out how they feel. But I cannot, because I am accountable to not just the Florida bar, but I am accountable to God, who has placed me in this position for a purpose. And whatever reflects badly on me reflects badly on the kingdom. So it's definitely a struggle with the spiritual walk and the walk in the flesh. But that's why it's important to just have a strong praying life, so I am able to remain in the spirit and act like a Christian.
Because with a client knowing that you are a Christian and lashing out, it's not going to help the ministry.
Exactly.
It's not going to help you ministering to them.
Yes.
And sometimes, they'll be looking at you and be like, well, is this what a Christian looks like?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So,
yes.
Yeah, I'm sure the challenge is there. I definitely concur that you have this compassion for your clients in terms of fees you just spoke about, because they'll come to you and even though it's way lower than and you'll be like, okay, I'll do it, not because you need the money, but because they need the help.
Exactly.
And so in helping them, it's a way of ministering to them and helping them to move forward.
Yes, yes. And it's good for people to know that there are people out there who are willing to help. Because clients have come to me who have gone to many attorneys.
Absolutely.
And I try not to turn them away, because I know that this is someone who, for me, it's not just about getting a fee. It's about really helping, and not just helping with the legal, with their legal problem, but helping them as an individual. Someone who is dealing with the death of a lost one. I don't want that person to think I'm just here.
Yeah.
Offer them some compassion, some words of comfort, some words of hope.
Yeah.
Like, it's a difficult time,
Yeah.
so I try to make it more than just about the money.
Yeah, and you personalize it a little more.
Absolutely,
So
yes.
that way, they're more comfortable, and they realize, okay, it comes with compassion and love sometimes.
Absolutely,
So, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, and they definitely find that in you.
Yeah.
So let's tell me, how do you strike a balance between the desire to be a good attorney with other competing demands? So how do you strike a balance between, doing your job as an attorney and as a Christian attorney and other competing demands around you?
The ever-elusive balance. I don't think that I tried it for many years, to find a balance. What is balance? And in my life, it does not exist. For me, it's not about finding a balance. It's really about prioritizing. So this week, maybe work demands more of my time than something else. Maybe next week, there are a slew of birthdays that I have to send cards to or travel in for birthday parties. So for me, it's really about having a priority list, making sure everything is taken care of, and that priority list gets changed. It changes. This week is this, next week is that.
Stages.
Yes.
Different stages.
So for me, the balance, I think, is a myth, because at different times, different tasks or different items require different level of time, different amounts of time. But one thing I maintain to always keep on the priority list is my prayer life. And there was a time when I would wake up and go straight to the computer.
Right.
It would be 4 o'clock and I said, oops, I forgot to pray.
Yeah.
And I just knew that it's not the way I wanted to live my life as a Christian attorney, because I need God's counsel. The same way I'm counseling to individuals, I need God's counsel to do my job, and like you said, to do it well.
Yeah.
So, what I realized is that I would think that I have to wake up and pray, and if I didn't, I would feel guilty at the end of the day. But what I do now is, while I'm working, I will listen to a sermon, or I'll have Bible Gateway, the audio Bible on, so that way God is always there and I'm always hearing his voice, so that priority is nothing ever comes before it. With the other things, it's just, I don't have a husband or children, so I have so much more time than my sisters and my friends who do. So it's really a matter of making sure that I remember things like birthdays, or remember graduations. I remember if someone is going through a difficult time, put it on the priority list and make sure that I review my priority list every single morning to know what demands my time for that day. And that's how I swing it. That's how I make it happen.
Okay. But what you're saying is, too, we also have to be intentional.
Yeah,
we have
absolutely.
to be intentional with God. We
Yes.
have to make him the priority in order to find that balance, or help us prioritize. I too
Yes.
struggle with, especially since COVID, just waking up and going right to the computer.
Yes.
And sometimes I have to stop myself and, read that devotional or say my prayer, but I make sure that it's done during the day, even if it's not done right at that moment when I wake up. It's done. It's a part of the routine, a part of the life. You have to make it an intentional part of your life and your journey.
That is a key word
Yeah.
for me in this season.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, there have been times I've been in court and I've had to make an argument, and I kid you not, the words just rolled off my tongue, and I did not think of it, and I just knew it was God, and I'm like, wow, Lord, thank you. There have been times when I've been so immersed in the word that I'm standing before the judge and I'm saying, yes, Lord. And I have to catch myself and say, yes, Your Honor. He's not a Lord. So, and it happens when I am just, so for me, I know, because there are times when God prepares me, or when I'm in court and I remember getting yelled by a judge one time. It was just so berating, like, wow. And God, right there, after I left court, I went to church that evening, and God, the way the scripture that was read went, because I stood there, I left, I cried going to my car. I was like, Lord, how could this man yell at me like this? In an open court, full courtroom, yelled at. And I was just bawling my eyes out, like, Lord, how could you make this happen, to me? And I went to court. I remember I went to church after, and the pastor was just preaching about, and I forgot the verse, but it was about, I will cause coals. I will cause the heap of coals to fall on the head of his head, not just his head, but his children. I said, thank you, Lord, for the vindication. Vengeance is the Lord's. So,
Always.
he gives me encouragement through his words.
That's good. That's good. How does being an attorney impact your other roles and responsibilities in the community, your church? How does that impact?
For me, it's really looking at the role and seeing what can be done with it. When I first started practicing, I would not say I was an attorney. For whatever reason, I just felt like...
Why wouldn't you?
The honest reason is this.
Real talk.
Real talk. Thank you. Thanks for the reminder. Real talk. Real talk is this. It came with a level of, people would just think, oh, you're an attorney, you're this, you're that. And I did not want to be identified as that. I wanted to be identified as a person. And then my dad said, why do you do that? You have this position, use it. And I realized that this is something, and as I said earlier, just being able to mentor to young girls, to give them an idea of like, this is what you can become. I'm the first attorney in my family. It's really, people, I hate to say this, I am the most humble person you will find.
You are.
People look up to it. And it's a position that can give you impact.
Absolutely.
You're able to impact others. You're able to, I can probably speak to people that a lay person cannot just because I have the law degree. And not just me, but an attorney can do so. So it opens doors and it positions me in places I would otherwise not be, not with this position. So I think it positions me to just really help and reach people I would not otherwise be able to. And I think for me, that's the best thing about it, is being able to stand as a guide or as a person that, one, you can be, or someone who can make a change for others.
It's so funny because you mentioned, and you are humble. I can vouch for that. Very humble.
Oh, thank you.
But there are other attorneys who would have used that title and are still using that title to propel themselves, or, it's gone to their head that their ego is bigger than their, so it's refreshing to know that, the title does not make you as a person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're so right. And that's just definitely reminds me of why I think I kind of did not put it on the forefront. People will say, my sister still laughs about the time she met a colleague of mine and he introduced himself as attorney so-and-so. And she's like, your first name is attorney? I mean, there's a time and a place. In a casual setting, there's no need for me to just say, I'm an attorney. If there's a need, I need, yes, then this is how I can help you. But it's so true. I see it. And people always say to me, wow, people are surprised that I'm an attorney because I am not all flamboyant with it. And, this is it. That for me, it's not it. I tell people, I'm a person and then I'm an attorney. I'm not an attorney and then I'm a person. I'm a person first. I'm an individual who can identify with human beings because that's what I am.
Relatable.
Yes.
Very relatable.
The attorney part helps me help them.
Absolutely.
That's what it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about purpose, because I know that you did not want to be an attorney. You wanted to be an evangelist. So tell me a little bit about that. Tell our viewers a little bit about that. And while you're telling us about that, tell me if you're living your purpose.
You're stepping on toes, Michelle. You're stepping on toes. Well, no, I always wanted to be an attorney.
Right.
But I know that God called me to more than being an attorney.
Okay, got it.
And the purpose question is just such a profound question. I think it's a question we would ask throughout our entire lives. I knew that God called me. I know that God called me to be an attorney, but I also always knew that it was not my final destination. I would constantly tell my sisters, this is training ground for where God is taking me. I love the profession. I love what I've done. I love what I do. I love the opportunity and the ability to help. And I just love knowing that I'm there to help, and I'm there as a source for people. It comforts me that I can help people. But there is more God has in store for me. There is more, and that is to spread the good news. God gave me Isaiah 61:3. The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is upon me because the Lord has anointed me to spread the good news to the poor. And that, I believe, is my true and ultimate purpose here. Doesn't mean I can't not share the gospel with my clients, but I know that was just one platform, and God is saying, I'm taking you somewhere else. So this is where I am in my life now with, okay, Lord, how do I continue to practice? Because I don't know that I'm not ready to divorce from the practice of law. I want to continue practicing. How do I mix the two? Seeking the Lord's guidance on that. Because to answer your last question, and I guess I must answer truthfully, we are in a church.
Please.
So I do not believe I'm living my purpose in the full sense. I believe I lived my purpose in obeying God's call to be an attorney, but in terms of where he's calling me next, I have not. And that's because I think I continue to consume myself with practicing and not saying, okay, make room also for this. But I thought that I had to we've practiced for a certain amount of years. When I'm done, then I will follow the evangelical route. Or let me wait until I have certain this. It's always about setting a goal. Then I will do this, then I will do that. And God is saying, no, now is the time. Do it now. So I'm really working on doing that, where starting to be more of an evangelist, to sharing the good news of the Lord. Because I'll tell my sister this all the time. If I died and did not become an attorney, I think I would be okay with that. But if I were to die, never having accomplished this part of being an evangelist, how I know that God has called me, I would die with regret. And I do not want to die with regret. You know, the words of it was a star who passed away, and he said, when he's standing before God, he wants to stand empty. And I want that too. I want to stand before God and say, yes, God, I ran the race.
Yeah,
you know,
given it all.
I've given it all. I'm empty. That which you laid on my heart, I accomplished it. I did it. So for me, it's really a matter of like, Lord, what does my life as an evangelist look like? I want to go throughout the world, sharing the good news with individuals, empowering them with the word of God, and helping them accomplish their divine destiny, knowing that they are doing so for the Lord. For me, that is my true life's purpose, and it's something I am embarking on now with the great chair.
Wow. Wow. I know when we spoke and I learned this about you, I was like, wow, you know, I can see you, why the ministry, the clients have come in, but maybe your purpose is two-part. It's being the attorney, helping the clients. It's preparation ground, like you said, into becoming your next stage of your purpose. Purpose
Absolutely.
doesn't have to be one fold.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be one fold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's what subconsciously or consciously we're taught, that your purpose is this
Right,
one road,
right,
this one path
right,
you must go down.
right.
And perhaps that's why I got so consumed with just an attorney now and then maybe later. And God is saying, no, it does not have to be one fold.
Right. But it's interesting enough that your purpose would be combined with the two, because
Exactly.
when you put them together, it's still ministering
Exactly.
in both sense.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
all with God's divine plan, you know. So He leads, and my job is to follow.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what advice would you give to a Christian who's studying law?
Yes, the advice I would give to my young self, myself when I was a first-year law student, which was a very tough year for me. I had a lot of, I was faced with a difficult living situation. My advice to that person and someone studying law now would be, take God with you. Take God on this journey with you.
Wow.
You do not have to separate your academic life with your Christian life. They are one and the same. When I was a Christian, when I started law school, I was not going to church because I was studying all the time. I was talking to God, but I was not spending amounts of time with the Lord as I should have. I tried to fix my problems myself. I studied on my own, thinking I had to learn everything on my own. So to this person, to this law student, whichever stage they're in, I would say take God with you. When you wake up and you go sit at that desk to study, pull up a chair for God. When you open that book with those difficult case, studies to read, ask God to guide you and give you the discernment to understand. When you're studying for that exam, invite the Lord to bring to your remembrance the things you've studied. As you're, applying for jobs, just call on the Lord who makes a way out of no way. Studying for the bar, there's just take God on the journey with you. He called you there, He is there, and He wants to be a part of it with you. those late nights studying, he will be there with you, encouraging you, maybe telling you go to sleep, but just he's there. Make him a part of it. It's not school life and then Christian life. The two are one and the same, and that's something I wish I had done. But thank God, God is a God of restoration, so He will restore whatever we think we've lost. But if I had to do it over again, God would definitely be a priority during my law school years.
Interesting. Let's go back a little bit and tell me the steps that you're taking now to reach that part 2 of your purpose. I know you want to be a life coach, so share with myself and the viewers, and just take us on the steps that you're taking to obtain part 2 of your purpose.
Okay, no, that's a good question. It helps me just bring things back to my remembrance. But what I am embarking on in this stage of my career now, my purpose journey now is I am working on becoming a transformational speaker and a life coach. And for me, it's transformational and not motivational, because no offense to any motivational speakers out there, but for me personally, I feel that motivation is more temporary. Perhaps I attend a conference with a motivational speaker and I just feel I'm empowered. I go home and I'm ready to take on the world. 2 or 3 days passes and it's just like, okay, I went this, and I want to bring permanent change to the minds of individuals. And for me, Romans 12, 1 and 2 is the catalyst of that. I want to transform people's minds with the Word of God, because I do believe that His words are everlasting from generation to generation. And when your mind is transformed, when your mind is renewed by the transforming, that's when true change happens.
Absolutely.
It affects your life. It affects the relationships you have with your family, neighborhood, people in the neighborhood, in your community, people at work. That's what I want to bring about, transformational change, one individual at a time, which will eventually bring about world change. So I'm doing that. And I am, as you read in the beginning, I am coach with John Maxwell.
So who's John Maxwell? Tell us who John Maxwell is.
John Maxwell is a renowned speaker. He is a Christian, but his services are both for secular and non-secular spheres. But he is a Christian, and he's written a plethora of books: The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, Put Your Dream to the Test. He wrote a bunch of books on leadership. I mean, he is powerful. But what I love about him, and why I chose to follow his route in terms of
obtaining that,
the speaking and the coaching, is that he truly seeks to empower individuals to be leaders, to pour into others, to add value to others. And for me, that is what it's about, adding value to people so that they reach their true potential. Not only that, but that they walk in their divine destiny. It's all about completing our divine destiny for the kingdom of God. It all goes back to that. So if I can do that with one individual, I will feel that my purpose is accomplished.
Wow. So tell me a little bit about Unstoppable Hope. So this is the nonprofit that you have started. Tell us about why you started it and how long it's been going and how is it doing.
Unstoppable Hope, so dear to my heart. Why we started it. I'm from St. Lucia, which is, it's considered a third world country. There's poverty there. And I remember just going back to visit and seeing the school children. And not just seeing them, but knowing some personally, and just those without books, or who cannot afford books, or school uniforms, or shoes. And what I realized then is that I am where I am not because I'm better than anyone, not because I'm luckier than anyone, not because I'm more blessed. It was just the opportunities I was given. That's why. These students struggling financially, given that opportunity, would probably be in the same position as I am. So I really wanted to give them that. I was one of those children, and my sisters often joke about how when we were going to school, my parents, a shoe became too small, and guess what? My mom would cut the front of that shoe so the toes can fit,
Wow.
okay? So I understand what it is like to be
yes.
without or to have. And, you can tell a child, just go to school, be proud. No. Is going to hurt a child's feelings that they don't have, proper shoes or proper uniforms or proper books, or that this child is in class thinking about what they're going to eat for dinner or for lunch. They have no food. It breaks my heart. Children should be allowed to just have childhoods, be happy, learn and enjoy learning. And I think children in that position, they have no hope. They have no hope, and without hope, we're lost.
Yeah.
So that's why unstoppable hope.
Yes.
Bringing that hope to kids, knowing that you can be whatever you want to be. So what unstoppable hope, we're trying to take away the financial burden of those kids, providing school supplies, helping them with their purchase of school uniforms. And eventually we plan to do a lot more. But starting with that, just saying you're going to get your books paid for, you're going to have new shoes to wear to school. There was a family we just recently supported with school uniforms, and it was not a hefty expense, but the sheer appreciation and joy on the face of the mother when she received that unexpected donation, it made it worth it, and it just empowered us to want to do so much more. There is need. And
Absolutely.
I cannot be a happy person knowing that there are people I can help and I'm not helping. So I get joy from helping others. And for me, children are really dear to me, because children should just be allowed to be children and live happy lives.
Yeah.
So we've been doing it for about 2 years now. The organization is run with me and my sisters. And it's something we hope to turn globally. Another initiative we did was a few years ago for my birthday. I raised funds for a pad drive, and I called it the luxury of a sanitary pad, because it's so heartbreaking that for some people a sanitary pad is in fact a luxury.
Yes.
They can't afford it.
Yes.
So what do they do when they're on their periods?
Yeah.
Girls have to stay home and they miss school. So they miss their education. And here is a cycle which continues to perpetuate itself where, they're missing school, they're being held back, or they just end up dropping out. So Unstoppable Hope does that, where we're going to provide sanitary napkins to individuals, to young ladies who just cannot purchase that. Because no young girl should be afraid or ashamed during that time of the month. So if that's another way, if we can bring hope to a child, that's another way we're doing it.
That is amazing. Children today are often burdened with so much that it robs them of their experience of being a child.
Exactly.
Of the education. So that is an awesome thing to be doing.
Thank you.
And
yes.
what has the donations been like? I mean, are people taking to it? Are they contributing?
Yes.
What's the feedback been like?
Yes, especially with the sanitary pad drive. It was very well received. People were shocked that young women were actually dealing with that situation.
Yeah.
It was surprising.
Where we can just go to a store
Exactly.
and just pick it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was very heartfelt to me when the men donated. That just meant a lot. Like, these men stood up and they just said, yes, we're helping out. So, and it's donations have mainly been through my sisters and myself and close friends. We haven't really sent it out to the public, but we will be doing so for more outreach so we can reach more children and make a bigger impact. But we continue to be faithful with it and just help where we can.
That's good. And where can we go to donate to your organization?
Anyone who wishes to donate can contact me, and I believe I'll give you contact information at the end.
Yeah.
They can contact me, and which no amount is too small, no amount is too large. I told people $10, provides sanitary pads for 3 months for a young girl, $10 US.
Wow.
That's all it takes.
Wow.
So A little goes a long way.
Wow. And I remember in our conversation, too, that you mentioned putting school lunches in
Yes.
schools. That is also something that you wish to do.
Absolutely. There is so much to be done.
Yeah.
And there is just so much, and my heart really is with children. I love children and I want to help them. I just hate seeing children be deprived of that part of their lives to be children. Reading about here in America, children cannot afford school lunches. Children are going to school hungry. Hungry. How often do we throw food out or food rots in the refrigerator before we don't cook it? So it's just finding a way, those schools where taking care of lunches for children for a year. It's not a huge expense. And together we can do so much. I truly believe there is enough wealth in America that no child in America needs to go hungry.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So I will play my part, and my job is to encourage others to play their part. Because I truly believe in strength in numbers.
Yes, absolutely. I think you have 3 parts to your purpose.
I know. Like you said, it's not that one path, I'm just open to the Lord, lead me, you know. And I think I need to stop just trying to think of just being so narrow-minded.
Yeah.
Lord, just where are you leading me? And be open to following him down that path.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we prepare to close, I ask all the guests, I always at the end ask them just to give some words of encouragement. And in your case, I would like for you to give some words of encouragement to someone who's trying to find their niche, their purpose, and just as well as, regarding compromising their faith with career. Just give some words of advice, look into the camera, give some words of advice, and just encourage someone on those things.
Okay, thanks. Wow, there's so much to say on that. This is the best part. I love this. So one thing I would say is it's not too late. It's not too late to start in terms of your purpose. It's not too late to start now and to start where you are. Do not take regret on the ride, on this journey with you. Yeah. Do not take self-doubt on this journey with you. Do not take failed experiences with you. Go with God. Go with confidence. Go with courage. Go believing that you truly can do anything you put your mind to do. That you serve a God who can do everything but fail. So God is with you on the journey. Wherever you are, start. Nothing will be accomplished if you do not start. Don't wait for the situation to seem right, feel right, or be right. Once you make up your mind to start and go forth in the Lord. And this is applicable to Christians and non-Christians alike. Mm-hmm. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Look at the world around you. Look at people who have done what you seek to accomplish. If they've done it, that means it's not impossible. You too can do it. So just go on believing, go on trusting, and just be intentional about what you want. And as we said early on here, life is not single purposed. You can have many purposes in life. Do not box yourself in. Do not box God in. Allow him to take you where he's taking you. Be obedient and follow. Life is beautiful. And where you are now, just imagine the best of your life is still yet to come. So go forth and grab it. And I say the same to myself.
Yeah, that was really encouraging, Sister Popo.
Well, thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Real talk now, real talk.
That was really inspiring. That was a sermon in itself.
Okay.
Do not box God in.
Yeah.
Do not box God in. So tell us where we can reach you to give donations to Unstoppable Hope, as well as if anyone out there is in need of bankruptcy service, wills and estates, and probate service. Just tell us where we can reach you.
Okay, so legally, if anyone's trying to reach me professionally, they can I am on Facebook, the Law Office of Verna Popo, PA, or they can visit my website, which is vpopolaw.com. That's vpopolaw.com. And if anyone wishes to donate to Unstoppable Hope or find out more about the organization, perhaps they want to start one like it or see how they can, we're open to that. They can contact me, 305-746-1908. That's 305-746-1908. Serious inquiries only.
Yes, please.
Because this really is about, the work of the Lord, really doing it to advance His kingdom.
Oh, wonderful. Verna, thank you so much.
Michelle,
thank
it's been
you.
a pleasure.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
really,
I appreciate it.
I know you, but it's always a pleasure just talking and learning more about my friends. And so it's been a privilege. It's been really uplifting and encouraging and inspiring. And I'm praying that someone out there or a few people out there were inspired by your talk.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being a guest on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. And to your viewers, thank you always for watching and supporting the show. Please share the show if you like it, and if you have not yet subscribed to Ambassador SDA Church, please don't forget to do so. We pray that you've been blessed and empowered by today's show. If you wish to contact us, please email us at realtalkwithmichelle1@gmail.com. realtalkwithmichelle1@gmail.com. Until next time, let's have some real talk.